Hi, LCRT class. This is Sadie May, and I didn't see where I could do a podcast for this posting, so I decided instead to create a YouTube video because I can easily share that instead of writing a response to just switch things up a little bit. So, for our Issues in Education research topic, I looked at a research topic that came up when I was looking at articles and videos, and that's value-added measures. And it's a topic that I've never heard anything about, or let me take that back. I've heard a lot about, but I didn't have the word that was used to define it. So I looked at two different articles. The first was from Edutopia by David Stroop, and the article was called Value-Added Measures in Instructor Effectiveness, Unpacking the Debate. And this was published, it was a blog posting published by David Stroop, who is an assistant professor of education, on June 15th, 2015. So very, very recently. And I thought, when I pulled it up, I thought I had no idea what they were talking about. And then I realized that value-added measures are basically those tools that are used to measure teacher effectiveness. And what's being done is that teachers are being measured based on their standardized assessment scores. This was a topic that came up in our discussion of our reading response discussion this week from Anna, and she stated that she works at a pay-for-performance district where 50% of her paycheck is determined by observations from an administrator, and the other 50% is determined by standardized test scores. And I already have some judgments against that, being that your pay is merely broken down to student effectiveness, and I wanted to learn more about the research on it. So the first article was by David Stroop, as I said, and then the second thing that I looked at was a YouTube video, and it was a recording of a presentation that Linda Darling Hammond gave on value-added measures, VAMs, and teachers' evaluations, and which of those makes sense. And this was on YouTube, and it was posted by a screen name Tries to Be Fair, and this is from a speaking engagement in Los Angeles. So to start with a quick synopsis, David Stroop talks about what researchers use and that they're using student test scores, and he gives three critiques on it. And mostly he's leaning towards the fact that that teachers really can't just be evaluated on how students do, that there's too many factors that go into what teachers do day in and day out and the students that they serve, and that while looking at VAMs, teachers often would maybe start at the top and be highly effective, all of their students grew, and then fall, and that there was actually nothing that changed except that the students changed. And so in his article, he has debates about why they don't work, and a lot of it is that teachers can't be defined by standardized tests, and that their work can't be defined by standardized tests, and that a few good ways to work around this is to have more work with PLCs, or collaborative learning communities, where they can look at student work and unpack what students are doing and use a variety of measures to really assess how they're doing as teachers. And that leads into Linda Darling Hammond, who had almost the exact same thing to say. And the one big quote that stuck with me when I listened to this speaking engagement by her is, I'm going to paraphrase the first part: schools need to look at many areas and different measures when evaluating teachers. And then she described that we need to look at student work samples, pre- and post-assessments, exhibitions of mastery, so something like performance-based assessments, as well as looking at teacher practice with the evidence of student learning and teachers' contributions to their community. And the direct quote from her is that of all the tests that one might use as measures of student learning, state tests are perhaps the least appropriate. And so she says that while value-added measures can be a good tool to use, they shouldn't be the end-all, be-all of evaluating how teachers are doing, and that they aren't the most effective and smart way to measure what teachers are doing. So in regards to my own school, I work at Colorado High School Charter, which is an alternative high school, and we are evaluated based on our performance, and that's many different ways. Our principal comes into our classroom and does formal evaluations 3 times a year and gives us formative feedback throughout the year. I am the instructional coach, and so based on that formal feedback that he gives to teachers, I'll go into classrooms and choose topics to work on with teachers, whatever it is that they feel that more strongly that they want to work on. And I found that interesting that part of the YouTube video with Linda Darling Hammond, she talks about how effective teacher coaching is, and that's one of the most effective ways that they've seen teachers grow is by having people in regularly, observing classes and giving feedback to teachers and helping them become stronger teachers. And so I kind of gave myself a pat on the back. I was happy to hear that because I have found it to be very effective at our school. So our principal comes in, and then we're also evaluated by our core principals of, are we contributing to the school? Are we following the school culture? Do we believe that all of our students can succeed? Our students do an evaluation of us that the administration passes out, and they do that 2 times a year to look at what do students really think about teachers, and are the teachers at the school effective, and are they helping them grow as not only learners academically, but also socially and emotionally. And then the final measurement is standardized tests. So our teachers are measured based on how their students are doing on the MAPS test, so the NWEA measurement of academic progress, ACT testing, and we don't use PARCC testing because we use the tests that teachers really feel gives a good assessment as to how their students are doing, and the assessments that they use directly in the classroom to help students grow. And MAPS is one that all of our teachers definitely use. And so in the end, our pay isn't dictated by that, but our bonus is. So if we're a high-performing teacher and we do very well, our evaluations are good, our students are growing, we can get up to 5% of our pay in a bonus at the end of the school year. And if we aren't effective, then we get a lesser bonus. And I work at a school that doesn't have tenure, that every single year that we go up for a renewal of our contracts, and we're on yearly contracts. So I think that part of the yearly contract helps us maintain a high sense of are we doing well in the classroom, and that we're getting feedback and we're making sure that we're growing, but also that instead of being a punitive measure, if our students are doing really well and we're working really hard, that instead it's a reward for us. And so I really enjoyed both the video and the article. The video, Linda Darling Hammond, I think is an incredible person to listen to in regards to assessment, and I strongly believe in what she has to say is the right way, that state tests are not the most appropriate way to measure teachers, but what they're doing on a day-to-day classroom with their students, and based on what their students have to say, and based on the work that their students are creating, that's a better way to measure teachers. So I hope that you've enjoyed this YouTube video. It's very weird to make a video, and I hope that I don't have to watch this many times over again. But I took a chance on it, and it was great talking to the class. I hope you're all enjoying your summers, and I hope to see you and talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.